Welcome to the Planet Laundry podcast. This message is brought to you by Planet Laundry, the magazine of the Coin Laundry Association. In this episode, you will hear our editor, Bob Nieman, interview Yvette Morton-Williams, a results-oriented business owner with over 10 years in the coin laundry industry. Yvette owns 3 laundromats in the Atlanta metro area, is a powerful business leader coming from the pharmaceutical industry, and serves the vended laundry community as one of the newest members of the CLA's board of directors. We hope you enjoy this conversation, and we invite you to listen to more Planet Laundry podcasts at www.planetlaundry.com/podcast or on your favorite streaming service.
Today I'm with Yvette Morton-Williams. She's a multi-store owner in the metro Atlanta area who's been in the industry for more than a decade. She's also one of the newest members of the Coin Laundry Association's board of directors. Yvette, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to sit and speak with you today.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, congratulations on your nomination to the CLA board just this past January. Why were you so interested in serving on the board?
I appreciate the congratulations, and I'm so excited to be here and be on the board. I've been part of the Coin Laundry Association since I first joined the industry 11 years ago when I first purchased my store, Washington Coin Laundry. I joined after I got the store, but immediately afterwards. And if I knew then what I know now, I would have joined long before then. But, you can't go back and correct things. Hindsight is 20/20.
Right.
By being on the board, I love the opportunity to interact with some high performers in the industry and those who are just really passionate about the laundry industry. And I also think that there's going to be a good chance for me to positively influence the industry and maybe some other people who are considering jumping in. Absolutely.
Well, what are some of your specific goals for your tenure on the board? What exactly would you like to help the association accomplish during your years on the board?
Well, I love the mission of it, which is to, just do everything to further the whole Coin Laundry Association, coin laundry industry. So I really am going to spend I've only been in, 2 months now, not even 2 whole months, but spend some time just kind of getting a feel for exactly what we're doing and what the organization is doing outside of the broader mission statement. So I'm currently on 2 committees. One is being chaired by Ted Restaino, who's with Yankee Equipment Systems, and he's been great. This is to kind of look more at the executive rotation for the Coin Laundry Association board. And then the other committee that I'm on currently is chaired by Brian Holland from the Laundry Cafe, and that is for diversity and inclusion. So I'm expecting that I can have immediate impact in those 2 areas by serving on those boards, but I'm anticipating that much more will follow.
Very good, very good. Now, you have an interesting background in that you spent more than a decade before laundry in pharmaceutical sales. You worked for such companies as Eli Lilly and Bristol Myers Squibb. Can you give me a little bit about your past professional history before you became a laundry owner?
Yeah, absolutely. My mother used to tease people and say that her daughter was a drug dealer that was in the pharmaceutical industry. So that's my background. For 17 years, I did sales with Eli Lilly in the Metro New York area, and I loved that job. I thought I was one of the luckiest people to have the opportunity to just interact with all of the healthcare providers in New York City. I loved it. I did that, and then I moved on and did marketing as well, and then I also did some market research consulting in the pharmaceutical industry.
Okay.
And just great experience, opportunities to work with some really smart people, do some good things, be involved in the development and marketing and great medications that positively affected the lives of millions of people. It just taught me so much in terms of just discipline and running businesses and having the ability to manage large amounts of money and to plan and to organize and to work with people around the world. It was really, really great experience.
I'm sure. And I'm also sure that working in Big Pharma prepared you for life as an entrepreneur and as a laundromat owner, too. I mean, I'm sure there was some carryover as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that I would say that everything I've done has led me to where I am right now. I think that's probably true for all of us, right?
Sure, yeah.
But I'd say just starting in sales and selling as my first real job outside of college, that was really valuable experience. I think that we're always selling, and we always need to be selling no matter what you're doing. It's really good to have that background that teaches you that people always want to know what's in it for me. So that's what I learned, the WIFM from a manager at Eli Lilly.
Right.
What's in it for me? And that's what everybody's looking for. They want to know what you have for them. And that's important when you are selling pharmaceuticals or selling software, or when you are selling your laundry services. You want to let people know this is why we're here. This is what we're going to offer you. This is how we're going to make your life easier. And only then will they start to really listen to you.
Right.
I learned about planning. We had to do so many plans and marketing, and that's what we had to do is plan, and that's just really helpful to have that discipline and be able to look further out and decide how you want to run your business and structure it and plan it and then execute it is great. There's developing processes and having very systematic things in place that can ensure your success was great. And then I also think working in Big Pharma kind of helped me think more short-term and long-term. It allows me to, that background allowed me to be successful because I can think about what I really need to do today. That's going to be important. But then also it's important to look down the road and what that will look like and maybe put some things in place today that will make 2 years from now a little easier or 5 years from now a little easier.
Right. Certainly that strategic thinking and that long-range vision and creating systems, creating an organization, all that kind of stuff just certainly carries over to the laundry industry, I'm sure. Now,
absolutely.
Having said that, laundromats were not your first entrepreneurial endeavor. Now, you also owned an interior design business, I believe, as well. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, that's fine. That you mentioned. I was actually interior decorating, so I didn't go to school for it. It's just always something that I love to do, and it was never more than a really fun hobby for me that I happened to get a few clients for. But it was always something that I enjoyed. I liked going into a space and seeing what I could do to make it look pretty. I always got compliments on my own home and was asked to help others to make their spaces prettier, make them more comfortable. So I enjoyed that, and I would do that for free. I say that that's one of the things you always want to know. What would you do for free? That's something that I would do for free. It's just fun. Right.
Okay. Well, I'm sure that decorating experience helped you with your own stores, as you're opening stores and maybe designing them a little bit. Would that be accurate?
No doubt about it. I would say that for me, the inside of my place and the way that it looks and the way that people feel once they're in there is really important. And that really comes from my decorating background. Or maybe my background comes from that. I'm not really sure which came first, but absolutely, you want to make people feel comfortable when they're in your space. And sometimes people don't even know exactly what it is that makes them want to be there, but it's something about it. They maybe can't put their finger on it, but it's a level of comfort, it's beauty, maybe something a little bit nicer than they've had at home, but they notice the small things. And for me, I like to have a space that makes people feel comfortable. So it's well designed, it's laid out, the colors are nice. It's just a really good feel. And what I found is that if I'm feeling good in there, then it's a good chance that my customers will as well. So I really recognize that there's kind of pride in my brand. So I always say that I am the owner of a small chain of upscale laundromats in the metro Atlanta area. And for me, that upscale is a big thing. I like to have something that makes people feel nice. So I recognize that there's an impact and that beautiful spaces has on the team members and then on our customers and then also in the broader community. And for me, that's good because, as you know, many laundromats, many successful laundromats are located in areas where maybe the average income is not so high.
Right.
And unfortunately, many times those are associated with some lower-end finishes, some operators, not just for laundromats, but other businesses in general, who maybe don't take the pride in their place that they would if they were in a more high-end or upscale area.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I always have the thought that the community deserves better.
Mm-hmm.
They deserve better. So I enjoy doing that. I enjoy giving that to them, and it makes me feel good, and I can tell that it makes them feel good.
Mm-hmm.
And I also feel that people tend to treat things better when they look better.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Do you see it? Yeah, you think that? I think so.
Yeah, no doubt.
I think so. So I think that in general, that if you give them something that's nice, people will tend to take care of it. And of course, there are exceptions to that, and not everybody will do that. But in general, I think that when people have nicer things, then they tend to feel better, and they will act better and take better care of your things. So.
Right. They feel it's their place, and they tend to take a little more ownership of your business because they appreciate what you're doing for them. It's a respect type of arrangement, I think.
I absolutely agree, Bob. And you've done something well when the customers are telling on other customers to you,
right.
Or they're stopping them from doing things when they see them do it because they feel like this is my space and this is our space. And
right.
How can we possibly expect someone else to come in and make it nice if we don't care enough to do it? So I enjoy that. I think it's really a snowball effect, and it's been very, very. We've been very successful at doing it.
It really is. Do you have any, given your decorating background, do you have any decorating hacks or tips or strategies that you could share with store owners that could make their businesses a little more upscale? Anything quick and easy that you want to share with us?
You know what? I think that things that are popular in design, and it took me a little while to kind of get to this place, too. I think when I first got my store, the Washington initial store, I didn't equate decorating with a laundromat.
Right.
And it took me a little while. I had to kind of grow into it, but I find that things that you like in your home, things that you may find beautiful in other places, you can absolutely incorporate in a laundromat. You don't have to stick with what you've always seen or what may be expected. You can bring in beautiful color schemes, and you can not have to have everything look like the old McDonald's, maybe, or just something like bright red or bright yellow or bright anything. You can do it and make it your own. And I think that if you find something that you feel comfortable, whether it's in your home or it's someplace else, don't be afraid to bring that to your laundromat and really make it your own. Because I find that how you do one thing, that's kind of how you do everything. So don't let your personality stop at the door of your business. Your whole personality should be infused in your business, and whether that be everything about it, from the way your employees dress to the uniforms they have to the color on the wall to don't be afraid to put a vase behind the counter or some beautiful picture or quote on the wall. Right.
That's great. Great advice. Put some personality into your store. Absolutely. I think that's awesome advice. Thanks. Well, when did you finally make your way to the laundromat industry? What attracted you, I guess? When did this, how did you get involved in this whole thing?
Well, I was consulting with Bristol Myers Squibb kind of at the end of my tenure in the pharmaceutical industry. And we had a contract, and the contract ended. And we knew it was coming to an end, so it wasn't a surprise. And there was an opportunity to go back and work for the company, which I knew wasn't going to work well for me. It really wasn't the direction that I wanted to go in. And as far as my family life, it just wasn't something that I wanted to do. And I always thought that I wanted to be an entrepreneur, like on a bigger level. I'd done some things in the past. I'd done the decorating, but as I said, that was always more of a hobby. It was never my full-time gig. I'd done some real estate sales, which is kind of an entrepreneurship thing. It's kind of being out on your own, but I really wanted to do something different. So my husband and I, we did a lot of brainstorming and looked at all different sorts of businesses. And the laundromat industry just kept coming back. We kept coming back to that. And it checked off a lot of boxes that were really important to me. And that was a business that provided me with a lot of freedom and a lot of flexibility. I wasn't expected to be at a desk and didn't have to be there from 9 to 5 or in some cases from 8 to 6 or 7 and travel on the weekends, go out of town and be on an airplane away from my young family, which was important to me. And then also what I really liked about it was that it had an opportunity to do something that had a really positive impact on the community. So, so those all came together to equal laundromat owner.
Right. Taking your past, bringing it all together, and again, there were a lot of things that attracted you, the flexibility and such. So very good. Well, obviously, this past year has been beyond challenging for everyone, laundromat owners included. How has business been in your area over these past 12 months?
Well, I would say good overall. I think we all appreciate the effort that the CLA did in ensuring that we were named as essential businesses. So during this pandemic, we were all permitted to stay open, and we did, minus a couple days where we closed because of city ordinances or closed early. But we were able to stay open, and business has been good for us. We did have a slight dip at the very beginning, but we quickly recovered and have been growing since then, so that's been great. And what I've seen in our area, probably not unlike many places, that the impact really varies based on the percentage of the individual laundromat's business that was represented by maybe tourists, or if they had a lot of hotel business or restaurant business and commercial business, and those places that had that sort of mix in their revenue stream, they tended to take more of a hit. But for us, that wasn't a big part of what we did, so we haven't seen that type of downturn. Okay,
great. That's great news. Well, how have you coped with the pandemic, professionally and personally as well?
Yeah, well, Bob, this has been a tough year for a lot of people. And for me, what's really made the big difference is recognizing that self-care is as important or more important than it's ever been. And anybody that has children or has worked with children will tell you how important a routine is for them. So you want to, give them a bath, you want to eat dinner, bath, read to them, brush your teeth, bedtime, tuck them in. You try to keep things kind of consistent because it gives a level of comfort and security. And what I think is that a lot of adults get away from that. We don't remember how comforting routines are. And for me, routine is really important. So I try to maintain a sense of routine, and that's helped me a lot. So I have some things that I do every day, and if I don't do them, something went wrong that day because I couldn't do it. But barring some sort of emergency, there are certain things that I do every single day, and I find that that's helped me. It's really helped me a lot. So I try to maintain the routines. We've got we've had a lot of challenges, so I've tried to make sure that my team, because I recognize that without my team members, my business wouldn't be successful. So it's really been important to tell them that, to show them that, and to get their input. So I like to poll my team kind of throughout this pandemic to get a sense on what level of comfort they had. Because the laws said maybe we had to do one thing, but, once you got inside of our four walls of our businesses, we had some flexibility on how we executed those laws. Did we want to have people be able to sit inside and separate? Did we want to count the people as they came in? What did we want to do as a business? And I look at my team members as family members. I want them to be comfortable. Again, people say the customers come first, and my customers are really high up there, but I would say my team members would probably come before my customers. Because I have a relationship with them, and customers are extremely important as well. So I like to poll them and ask them, what do you guys want? What are you comfortable with at this point? Are we still okay asking people to go out and we had a lot of tough times with customers not necessarily being so nice and not appreciating enforcing the rules or thinking that certain things didn't apply to them or that it was personal if we were asking them to do some things. And I really kind of took the lead of our team to make sure that we were comfortable doing what we needed to do so that we could continue to operate and provide a good service, a needed service for the community throughout this pandemic.
Well, what were the major challenges to the laundromat business? Was it that you just mentioned, or what were the major hurdles that you faced and continue to face?
Well, during the pandemic specifically, as it relates to that?
Yes.
Yeah, I would say that probably has been what that has been it for us. It's trying to navigate this world and a place where we have prided ourselves on having a comfortable environment and being welcoming and inviting and having kids areas and places for the children to read and to learn and to play and shutting it down and asking those same people who weeks before we were welcoming in and enjoying long extended conversations with them when we could to now ask them to please wait in your vehicle.
Right.
Please don't come in here with your whole family. Please wait outside. Please load and go. It was challenging. It wasn't comfortable. It wasn't something that we liked to do.
Right.
And some people really had a very difficult time with it. And I've received multiple calls from customers and from my team members as well, some complaints, and some people were very, very understanding. And then you have a few people who weren't understanding about why we were doing it and vowing that they'll go someplace else. And we may have lost some people during that, some customers, but I think we gained more, and I think we gained the respect of those that did stay when they see that it's not a personal thing. We're trying to be fair, and please understand that we're trying to figure this out as well. There was no manual written on how to run a laundromat during the pandemic. So we were all just trying to figure it out and trying to be fair and compassionate to everybody.
Right. As you said, figure it out.
And not to mention the coin thing, too.
The
whole coin issue was a really big deal also.
It was. Did you get hit by that coin shortage pretty severely as far as that goes?
Well, we did get hit. We did get hit. We don't accept quarters at our location, so we're hybrid stores. We do dollar coins and the credit and debit cards. Okay. I think that helped.
Absolutely.
But the places where my bank that was able to, in the past, always order a set number of dollar coins for me, they were no longer able to do that.
Right.
So I did have a little time where it got a little tough, but it never got to be a dire situation. But
right. I know.
It certainly was not fun for a little bit of time.
Right. And certainly some coin-specific operators were probably much more dire. But have you seen the coin flow start to, has it normalized in your area?
It has, absolutely. We haven't had any problems getting coins lately.
Perfect. Yeah. Well, I mean, during these difficult times, and I know you're very community-oriented and community-based, how has your business reached out to the communities and the neighborhoods you serve during this time?
Yeah, absolutely. We're definitely community-oriented. And as I mentioned before, that really was a big part in why I wanted to be in this industry. It's just been great. So we have done a lot during this time. We've had a big turkey giveaway right before Thanksgiving, which is great. We had nearly 100 turkeys we gave away in record. It was a lot of fun. Our customer appreciation, where we buy gifts and recognize our customers and just let them know that we really appreciate them and we know they can go anywhere. Thank them for coming. So like giving away large flat screen TVs and gift cards and laundry bags and supplies. We've done donations to healthcare providers, which has been fun and rewarding because as tough as I think that it may have been for us, I wouldn't even begin to compare what some of the healthcare providers have had to go through on a regular basis. That's been really, really tough roles they've had to fill, and then they've done it really an amazing job. We were asked to participate in a video message to healthcare professionals with our local Chamber of Commerce. So that was really fun, too. So we did videotape along with some other community leaders and just to say thank you and to tell them on video as well. And, of course, we always donate clothing. We get, like I'm sure all of my counterparts get clothing that's left behind. So being able to donate that when I know that there are people who have been suffering financially during the pandemic, that's been great. We did a mural. So we did a mural, and that some people will look at a mural and say that's really very superficial. But I can tell you the feedback we've gotten from such a beautiful mural outside on the back of one of our locations has just been phenomenal. People just love it. They love it, and I think that it's important to recognize how beautiful things make people feel. And during this time where so many people have not been feeling good, to know that just offering something beautiful for them to look at, something unexpected, has been really great.
Oh, what a great idea! I love that. That's a great idea. You've got a lot going on there during the last 12 months.
We have been. You know, we adopted a local school also, so that's been great. We've been able to financially contribute to them so that the students can have prizes, and they have a school store that they are able to purchase things from when they earn rewards. So we've been able to do that. And then a scholarship. So we've had a scholarship, and we recently kind of revised it. So that's something that we've done for a long time, and we recently brought it to one specific community and changed the focus. The scholarship before was for teenage moms.
Okay.
And now we've changed it to really reward young men and young women who has been really active in their community and volunteered in the community. So we've changed that. It's called the Carl Van Williams Service Scholarship.
Oh, okay. All right.
And it's great. So it's a $4,000 scholarship that we'll be doing this year for the first time. So I'm super excited about that. And just another way during the pandemic, but who couldn't use $4,000 to pay for education at any time? But during the pandemic, it feels really good to do that now too.
Right. Now you're also, I believe, you sit on the board of directors of the Boys and Girls Clubs of Metro Atlanta. Is that true as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I actually I'm really excited about working with that group. That's a great organization that's been around for a really long time, and full of really wonderful people on the board, and the young people are so inspirational. Like I get so much from seeing them and hearing their stories. So that's been a good experience. We're in the process of doing our big fundraiser. Or we'll do an Under the Stars and Cards. It's a movie outdoors that we'll plan for the summertime again. We did it last year, and we've won the sponsors. Our laundromat in the area will do that again this year. Right.
These all seem like, just talking to you, these are real passion projects for you, all of this community-based service. Why is it so important for you?
Well, I think I'm really an idealist and really a diehard kind of optimist at heart. And I believe that we should be the change that we want to see, and that if you want to have a better world, or you have to start with the continent and then the country and a state, or you want a better city and community. That really, to do any of that, you really have to start with yourself.
Right.
So if you start with yourself and kind of go out, I think that the impact will be greater.
Right.
So I enjoy it. It brings fun. I think that everything that any of us ever does is because we think we'll feel better when we do it. And that's whether whether you want to have a laundromat, whether you want to have 10 or 20 laundromats, you want to do that because you think you'll feel better. And for me, I feel better when I'm involved in the community, when I know I'm doing something that is helping a life or changing a life or supporting someone. It just feels really good.
Right.
I'm definitely very passionate
about
all of that.
Well, you're doing great work in your communities, and it's so interesting to hear about that. Shifting gears a little bit,
Thank you.
I know you're in contact with other store owners in your community and probably around the country as well. What are some of the concerns, some of the bigger concerns you're hearing from other operators these days? What's on their minds?
Right. What I'm hearing pretty consistently is it's difficult to find and retain good team members. I keep hearing that. And I think it's always been a concern, but it seems as if it has increased lately.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. I think that's certainly a perpetual struggle for all attended stores, and that certainly makes sense. Hey, what's your favorite aspect?
I think it's maybe something to do with the I'm sorry.
No.
Maybe a little bit to do with the additional money that people are getting right now as well. It seems as if it's just it's ongoing.
Yeah, no, definitely. I was just going to ask, what's your favorite aspect of the laundromat business? You've been in it now for quite a while. What do you really enjoy doing?
As you probably could have guessed from some of the things I've already talked about, it's like the community connection that you get.
Okay.
Like, I would say just having a place where people can connect and being able to be that laundromat in a community that's nice and that draws people in and welcomes people and does more than just clean clothes. That's absolutely my favorite part about the business.
Right, being that hub of the community, that community center that kind of lifts up the neighborhood.
Yeah, I like to think that a good laundromat can absolutely lift up the neighborhood. Absolutely.
On the flip side, what do you absolutely hate doing at the laundromat? There's got to be something.
That I hate doing?
Yeah. What's your least favorite aspect of the business?
My least favorite aspect is, well, I would say that actual duty.
Sure.
Probably some of the things that we may have to clean. I guess that's never fun. Yeah, that's never fun to have to do some of that cleaning, some of the really gross stuff that happens in laundromats. But luckily, it's not all the time.
There you go. Okay, that's fair.
All the time, but
that's fair. Yvette, do you have a business philosophy that guides your decisions in business and in life, I guess?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say that you need to have fun. And that for me is a guiding principle because, like I said, I think everybody does things because they expect they're going to feel better. So if you're having fun and you're enjoying things, then it makes everything else just go so much more smoothly. And so that I would say probably at the top. And, I've told my children, don't seek a career for how much money you're going to make, but find something that you're passionate about. So enjoy what you're doing, and I always like to enjoy what I'm doing. And I'll say I'll continue to be in this industry as long as I'm having fun and I'm enjoying it. I always like to seek to improve my processes all the time. I say that's a good business philosophy of mine and life philosophy, and expect to learn every day. And I share with my team, I believe this, that if we're not growing, we're dying. So I want to always be thinking about what can we be doing different, what can we be doing better, and encourage everybody on the team to examine what they're doing and know that just because this is how we've done it doesn't mean that that's how we need to continue to do it. If you have an idea, I want to hear it. Like, I absolutely want to hear it. Please share it, and let's analyze it, and if it works, then let's spread it around, and let's do it at the other locations, and reward that person for having that idea. So, I like to think of myself as an inspiration magnet.
Right.
So I say that I feel like inspiration is drawn to me, and I feel it, and I look for it in all sorts of places because I get it from everywhere, from like young children to the older people and everything in between. So that's philosophy, just to continue to expect that you're going to learn something, look for it, have fun while you're doing it, and to always try to improve.
Well, that's interesting because your title is actually Chief Inspiration Officer at your company, isn't it?
Right.
Okay. And,
It is.
and that's where that comes from.
It is, absolutely. Yeah, that I think is my job as the leader of the company, is to find inspiration and hopefully inspire my team, and if I'm really doing well, to inspire people outside of my team, my community, and have fun while I'm doing it.
Perfect. In your experience, when a laundromat fails, what's the most common reason for that failure?
That's interesting that you asked that. I really think that when laundromats fail, most commonly it's because the operator lost interest. They didn't have passion. Yeah, so if the passion isn't there, then as I mentioned, if you're not growing, you're dying. Then you're dying. So you've got to be interested in it, hopefully passionate about it. You can walk into a space and you can tell if there is a passionate leader around. And when there's not, it kind of just starts withering and dying. And sometimes it's a slow death, and sometimes it happens pretty quickly.
Right.
But I always get the sense that usually many of those places that have failed, it's usually the operator probably senses some sort of relief, probably, because part of them somewhere has felt like this maybe wasn't the best fit for me. Right.
Very good. Well, personally, what's the biggest mistake you've ever made in this business?
Well, I think that probably my biggest mistake was when I started, is that I really wasn't dreaming big enough.
Oh, that's interesting.
No, I wasn't. I started 11 years ago. I never had any thought that I'd have more than one store.
Okay, all right.
Never did. It wasn't even a thought of mine. You know, I don't come from a family of entrepreneurs. I come from a family of hard workers, good people who believed in getting a job and keeping a job and doing well at your job, and that's very honorable and absolutely nothing wrong with it. But I never had the thought that I should have a business and grow that business and have multiple businesses. That was not something that was instilled in me, and I always envy colleagues of mine who say how many laundromats their families had for 40 years, and you know, and then they started doing this business and that business, and they had such up close and personal experience. I just never had that. So, so I wasn't thinking big enough. And if I had been thinking a little bigger, I'm sure I would have done some things a little differently.
Right. Well,
at the beginning.
That said, what advice or strategies or tips can you share with other owners or maybe potential investors today that you wish you knew 10 years ago when you were first getting into the business?
Well, like I said, I would say plan big, think big, dream big. Like don't be your own obstacle. Don't set a wall before you even get started. Imagine that it could be big. So dream big.
Right.
I wish I'd done more of that. And also I would say seek help. Seek help. And that could be in the form of mentoring. It could be in the form of coaching. When you look at some of the greatest, like LeBron James, for instance, he's at the very top of his game. This man still has a coach. He has personal coach, personal trainer, and somebody that who is performing at that high level who sees the value in continuing to work on himself.
Right.
And if he can do it, then how come all of us, I think all of the people that are performing at the highest levels continue to invest in themselves in all sorts of ways. So, so yeah, that's what I would say, is that plan to be big. If you think you will be in this industry, even if you don't think you will, think that it's a possibility that you might. And think, if I have one store today, would that be 2, 3, 4, 6, 10, 15 down the road? And if that's the case, then I'm may benefit from branding it same from the beginning and having that work for me, and just more proactive plans for growth than I had. I was just so happy to have a store. I was so happy to have my first location that I thought of doing more with I'm not even thinking about that. I just love this place, and I started with such a big place. It was 5,000 square foot store, so to start with that, I had my hands very, very full from the beginning, but I wish I had thought a little bigger right out the front.
Right. Well, that first store is certainly a lot for everybody. You need to kind of get your feet wet and then move from there. But that's great advice. Where do you turn to for advice? Where do you get help? Who are your coaches?
Well, I read a lot. I would say that's probably where I turn to for most of my business advice is books. So I like to read. I'm a big believer that, everything's probably been done before in some way, shape, form, or fashion, and there's no need to recreate the wheel. So, I'm reading constantly. I read all the time. So, I talked about routines, and I spend some time every day reading something, and probably some self-help type business, personal, because I believe if you want to have a successful business, you probably first need to start with yourself and making sure that everything is okay inside. So I have books from like John Maxwell, Tim Ferriss, Peter Drucker, of course, Jocko Willett, the Extreme Ownership book. One of my newer favorite ones, I think she's really funny, is Jen Sincero with the You Are a Badass book. So I just read. I read a lot. There's so much good information out there, and so many smart people who've written some really helpful things. And so that's what I like to do. I spend some time every morning. I get up and I'll get my exercise in, and while I'm on my elliptical, I'm reading. Okay. So I spend that time, and it's going to be every single day, and that is really helpful. So I get lots of ideas, and then I'm on the CLA forum. I read and get information from operators there, and just everywhere. I think that when your eyes are open, you're going to find something probably everywhere. If I go into another store and I'm seeing something that looks really cool there, even if it has nothing to do with laundromats, I'm thinking about how I can incorporate that in my own business.
Right, right. Looking at it through the laundromat scope, so to speak. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Do you have a top book or two that you'd like to recommend right now to other owners?
Probably one of my favorites might be Tim Ferriss, The Tools of Titans.
Okay.
I love that book. That book has so much information in there, and I challenge you to read that and not get something really, really good out of it.
Perfect.
Another one that I really like, this is by Lynn Twist, The Soul of Money. And I love that book. She has such a unique way at looking at life. And I read that book, and it really changed the way that I thought about money.
Wonderful. Great. Great advice. Last one for you, Yvette, and I really appreciate your time today. I know you're super busy, and this has been a real joy for me to chat with you. But what are your laundry business goals for the rest of this year? What are your goals? What do you want to accomplish?
Well, 2021 is here, and we are already almost in the third month of it. So I guess I really need to be cracking. It'll be 2022 soon, so I'll say one of my main goals of 2021 is to have fun. I really want to continue to enjoy this. I think that by having fun, people see when you're having fun, and it makes them enjoy what they're doing. So I want to keep having fun in laundromat industry and laundromat business. And also we just got a new location very recently. So I'm excited about that. Right. I will be retooling a new store. So one of my big goals is to have that retool complete, up and running, and kicking butt very soon.
Perfect. I think that's a great way to end it right there. Thank you again so much for your time. I really, really enjoyed it.
Thank you for joining us on our podcast today. Be sure to subscribe to Planet Laundry at www.planetlaundry.com. PlanetLaundry.com/subscribe, and follow us on social media at Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube.